Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather next week, 10 days for today's video. We'll also have a look at CFS V2 for the next month, and that pretty much takes us through the whole of May, so into the final month of the spring of 2018, of course, now. So it's been a very strange spring, because we have the really cold weather to start off with. The beach from the east at the beginning of March, and March was a pretty cold month overall. April's been quite a warm month, though, perhaps a little bit surprisingly, although we don't yet have the CET or the UK-wide figures in for April 2018 yet. We'll be getting those over the next few days, so as soon as we get that information, I'll be able to bring you that in the videos. But yeah, it's been a rather strange spring, and we're going to see what the final month of the spring of 2018 has in store for us right now. Just say that later on today we will have the 6th update for the May Day bank holiday weekend, so that'll be coming up around 7 o'clock this evening. In between now and then, we'll also have Terry Scully's May forecast, so you'll be able to see what Terry is predicting for this month later on this afternoon. It'll probably be around 5 o'clock, something like that. So we'll get on with today's video. I'm going to begin with the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. So we're looking at Cambridge today, by the way. So for the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing temperatures close to average. It was cold last night. Temperatures in Benson, Oxfordshire, I think, went down to -3. And one or two places in Scotland went even colder than that. So it was a really cold night last night for the time of year. But we are going to see the temperatures recovering in the spring sunshine today, and it's really from around the end of the week onwards that temperatures are going to get a big push up. So again, we're still on course for this much warmer spell of weather starting at the end of the week and going through the May Day bank holiday weekend. All of the latest information for the May Day bank holiday weekend will be coming up for you with the 6th May Day bank holiday weekend update this evening. Now, as we go beyond that, in towards the 2nd week of May, which is this period just here, going up to the middle of the month, actually, the temperatures are lowering compared to where they are just here over bank holiday weekend, but nevertheless still generally staying on the milder side of average. So as I was saying in yesterday's video, this does look like quite a warm start to May, and also plenty of dry weather coming up as well. So there will be some more rainfall tomorrow, but once that's out of the way, essentially we're looking at around a week of dry weather. Now, as we go through into the 2nd week of May, this period just here, the precipitation spikes are slowly but surely increasing. So we do finish up by the middle of the month, that's 15th of May just there. We do finish up with some proper rainfall spikes going through them. But bear in mind, that's a very long way off. So, I mean, that's in the unreliable time frame of the GFS and its ensembles. You will always see the GFS trying to turn things more unsettled in its extended range anyway. So within the reliable time frame, which is this period essentially just here from the 1st to, let's say, the 10th, the first 10 days of May, it really is looking quite good indeed, with a lot of dry weather and also those temperatures going above average. So looking really good, I think, for certainly the first week to 10 days of May in any case. So hopefully we'll be able to go through to our next chart in a moment. So there we go. Things are running rather slowly again at the moment, but we'll persevere. So these are the service temperatures at Cambridge. We've got plus 20 degrees up there. Plus 10 degrees is just there. 0 degrees is down there. We're starting off around or a little bit above 10 degrees the next couple of days, but then the temperature's lifting up. We talked about this lot in videos just recently, going to 20 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty warm, maybe even going a little bit above 20 degrees Celsius actually over bank holiday weekend into the start of next week. I wouldn't be too surprised to see 21 or 22 being reported. And then we see the temperatures lowering as we go into the 2nd week of May, but still holding up quite well, really. Still holding up at least 15 degrees, possibly sort of 16, 17, 18 degrees through this second week of May. So not looking too bad at all from a temperature perspective. Certainly a lot warmer compared to what we've had over the past week or so. Temperature anomaly is looking like that. So coming out generally mild on average. I did say yesterday that I was expecting these temperature anomalies to start trending warmer than average. That's certainly what we're seeing now. So most parts of the UK and Ireland from the 1st through to the 9th of May coming out with warmer than average temperature anomalies. Not a huge anomaly, but even so, around 2 degrees above average quite widely across the UK and Ireland too. Precipitation anomalies are looking like that, and I said yesterday I was expecting these to trend drier, and that's what's happened as well. So from the 1st through to the 9th of May, we're coming out drier than average in pretty much all parts of the UK and Ireland too. So warmer than average, drier than average. It all looks set fair for the first week to 10 days of May. So we'll have a look at the GFS. I'm just going to scroll back. So things got a bit wrong there. I haven't managed to scroll back, so let's try and go backwards. There we go, so we're back 72 hours. So we find that we've got this ridge of high pressure over the top of the country as we go through into Friday, with low pressure out to the northwest. That high pressure is strengthening as we go through into Saturday, and then on Sunday a lot of dry weather under that area of high pressure. The air is coming in from the east as well, or from the southeast, so it'll be pretty warm, mostly dry. All looking very good, I think, as we go through into the bank holiday weekend. That's how bank holiday Monday is looking. Now, you'll notice by then we have just got a little bit of a shallow area of low pressure developing over the top of the country. That's just as the pressure's weakening a bit, and because of the warmth, it's allowing a little bit of instability to develop. So we might get some showers breaking out perhaps on bank holiday Monday. I don't think they'll be particularly widespread. That's not how it looks. That's not how we're expecting things to pan out. Not expecting a wet day at this stage, but there might be some showers breaking out as we go through into bank holiday Monday. And then we're on a thing to the working week next week, and low pressure is increasingly moving in from the Atlantic for a time through the middle part of the week, so a little bit more unsettled through the middle of next week. But then the ridge is trying to come back again from the southwest. We go up to day 10, and we're looking like that. Low pressure's out to the west, high pressure is up to the northeast, so a little bit of a battle is taking place. It could be quite unsettled in the northwest, perhaps with some showery bursts of rain, but really most parts of the country looking dry. And then the high pressure re-establishes itself as we go through into the extended range. Actually, so that takes up to the middle part of May, Tuesday 15th of May, with high pressure dominating the weather. Then again, its centre is 2 hour east, so bringing in these easterly winds. ECWF looks like that. So again, the ridge is building over the country on Friday, and then as we go through into the weekend, the ridge exerts its influence. So still a little bit unsettled for the far north and west of Scotland, even on Sunday, but most parts of the country are under this area of high pressure, getting a lot of dry and quite warm weather too. That high pressure sticking over top of the country on bank holiday Monday. So a difference there between the GFS and the ECM. The ECMF, which I was just looking at, does suggest a mostly dry day on bank holiday Monday, almost universally across the country, and quite warm down in the south. The GFS looks a little bit more showery, I have to say, for bank holiday Monday. As I said, we're not expecting widespread rain at all on bank holiday Monday, but we might get 1 or 2 heavy showers. But if the ECM comes off, then it'll be a completely dry day. And that high pressure is maintained as we go through into Tuesday as well next week, and we keep anticyclonic influences going pretty much to the end of the ECM run, which is day 10, Friday the 11th of May. Shows that high pressure is still in control of the weather. Its centre is just to the northeast of Scotland, so perhaps a slightly cooler northeasterly feed coming in across the country. But again, a lot of dry weather. I think that's really where the emphasis is through the first half of May. Yes, there might be some showery bursts at times, but essentially the first half of May is shaping up to be really quite notably dry. So just have a look at CFS V2 for the next month then, before we go. And these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from the 1st through to the 7th of May. So we've got the ridge building out to the west from the Azores and also over to the east. There's unsettled weather up to the northwest and a bit of a cut-off low down to the south. Essentially what's happening here is what we've just been talking about. So starting a little bit unsettled for the next day or so, but eventually these two ridges are going to form quite a large area of high pressure close to the country. So settling down and warming up essentially in the week ahead. Then we go through to week 2, which is the 8th through to the 14th of May, with below average heights up to the north of Scotland, above average heights out in the central Atlantic and also to our northeast. Means we might do something a bit like that, but flowing with projections. So that's a little bit cooler, a little bit more unsettled as we're going into the second week of May. Then we go through to week 3. This one takes us from the 15th through to the 21st of May. And this one has high pressure building over Scandinavia, but also ridging out into the Atlantic. Low pressure is up there, and that's where the jet stream is. So that looks drier and warmer, I would have thought, through the 3rd week of May, bringing quite warm air from an east or possibly even southeasterly direction. We'd have to be watching out for this area of below average heights around Iberia to possibly be trying to bring up some thundery weather from the south, but essentially I think that could be pretty dry and warm through the 3rd week of May. And then we go through to the final week of May, week 4, which is the 22nd through to the 28th of May, still with above average heights over Scandinavia, starting to extend a little bit towards Iceland, still that area below average heights to the south. Again, the wind is coming in from an east or southeasterly direction. So it does look like quite an easterly May, this, if CFS comes off. A lot of easterly winds coming up. And in May, those easterly winds are not going to be overly cool. Actually, they could be quite warm if there's a southeasterly component to them. And the main thing, again, is a lot of dry weather, I would have thought, being indicated with this. Temperature anomalies for the week ahead coming out a little bit cooler than average, maybe surprisingly. I think that's a little bit pessimistic, to be honest. So we are starting off quite cold, as we know at the moment, particularly at night. But I reckon by the time we get through to the end of the week, we should be seeing the temperatures going quite warm. So I think that's a little bit on the pessimistic side for the temperature anomaly in the weekend. And also through to week 2, which is the 8th through to the 14th of May. That also is coming out a little bit cooler than average. But again, perhaps a little bit surprisingly. Week 3, temperature anomalies are coming out close to average, but still no sign of anything particularly warm coming up. And then week 4, actually, that rounds it all off, and that also is coming out a bit cooler than average. So despite that high pressure is dominating a lot of this May, it does look as though the temperatures are quite disappointing. And I do think that's a little bit on the pessimistic side. Certainly week 1, I wouldn't expect it to be anywhere near as cold as that. By the time we get through towards the end of the week and the weekend, temperatures will be into the low 20s Celsius, which is warmer than average. So I think, not sure what the CFS is doing there. It is a little bit on the pessimistic side, I think, with those temperatures. And then finally, we'll go through to the precipitation anomalies when the page decides it's going to refresh. There we go. So we find that precipitation-wise, the week ahead, the 1st through to the 7th of May, is coming out with average type precipitation. And then we go through to week 2, the 8th to the 14th of May, also coming out with average to maybe hinting at being slightly drier than average for week 2. And then we're going to have to refresh the page again. I'm not sure why this keeps doing this while we're going through these tabs, so it's quite annoying. But go through to week 3, which is the 15th to 21st of May. And we're coming out average to a little bit drier than average with the precipitation. And then we go through to week 4, rounding it all off on the 22nd through to 28th of May. And that also is coming out with average to maybe hinting at being a bit drier than average. So nothing overly dramatic happening, to be honest, with the CFS V2 for May. It does look as though anticyclonic influences are quite in control. So we're looking at a relatively dry month, although a lot of the anomalies are coming out closer to average in terms of precipitation, but I would expect quite a dryish month expected. But temperatures do look a bit disappointing given the pattern, so I'm not sure why it's doing that. It may be seeing, getting easterly winds quite a bit this May, and whilst easterly winds in May wouldn't normally be overly cold, because it is still quite cold in the North Sea. That's the leftover legacy from the beast from the east and the cold weather that we had earlier on in the spring. So it may be seeing that we've got those cold season temperature anomalies in the North Sea, and with the easterly winds running over the North Sea, then it might be lowering the temperature just a little bit too much. So I would suggest, given the patterns, we're likely to be seeing, at the very least, quite an average sort of temperatures this May. Possibly even, if we're getting a southeasterly component to the wind at times, possibly even a relatively warm May might be expected. But of course, we'll have more on that when we do the May month-end forecast, and that will be with you tomorrow. I think it'll be tomorrow's first video, actually. So the May month-end forecast will be coming tomorrow. Of course, we've also got Terry's May month-end forecast later on this afternoon. And then don't forget, this evening we've got our 6th, I think we're up to update number 6, 6th update for the May Day bank holiday weekend. So come back for all of the updates through the course of this afternoon and this evening. But yeah, certainly for the first week, 10 days of May, we are looking at pretty dry and increasingly warm weather, especially over bank holiday weekend. More on that this evening. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.